Chuck.
Bobby D. Somebody.
Chuck Alben, legendary St. John's athlete, New York, proud, big Trump guy. So we just lost half the audience. Proud Trump guy, I must say, right? We aligned in so many ways. We met through Dr. Ed.
Yes.
It feels like it's about 7 years ago up at the Mohegan Sun.
Atlantic City, I think.
Oh, it was Atlantic City. That's right. It was Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And you're a big baseball guy. Obviously, So am I. We're both Yankee fans. I'm a much more rational Yankee fan than you are.
Yeah, I'm a little opinionated.
You're a little over the edge sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit.
But we got a lot in common, and we hit it off. We're both kind of, similar type marriages, right?
Yep.
We had we're both very much into our kids, doing our shit. So we've always stayed in touch after the initial meeting that we had 7 years ago.
No doubt.
We're always chatting about everything, all kinds of subjects. We always have good text exchange. But most recently, we've really connected on something that very few people can do. It's probably the most challenging, the most idiotic, the most insane thing that we've done in our lives. Maybe not for you, because I know you're a little more adventurous than I am.
No, it's up there. I mean, I've jumped out of a plane. I've bungee jumped out of a hot air balloon, and this is
it's worse.
This takes the cake.
We're talking about cold plunging.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any ailments other than my mental problems. I just wanted to, I'm always looking at stuff. And for me, Chuck, I'm one of these guys that looks at stuff and then I take forever to act on it. Like,
you're a big researcher. You definitely.
Like, if it's a diet, if it's a different lifestyle, like I've looked at carnivore for years,
Yep.
and I looked at vegetarian people for years, and I'm like, so the cold plunge was no different. I started reading about it and I'm like, I'm a huge pussy for the cold. Like, as I've gotten older, I go out, and this too as a baseball. The worst thing is sitting and watching a baseball game in the cold. It's just
Northeast baseball is hell, right?
So I go out, I buy an electric coat, electric gloves. That's what kind of pussy I am in the cold. So I start looking at cold plunging, and I'm like, there's no fucking way I could do this. There's no chance. But then, we all have those two guys in our heads, right? The one guy, the other guy's like, stop being a pussy. You can go ahead. So I buy the tub, and I put it in the garage for like 6 months, not with water in it. Yeah. It's just fucking sitting there, and I'm looking at it.
You accomplished step one. It's like getting that gym membership.
Yeah. So it was the winter time when I bought it. So I'm like, I'm not fucking starting this in the winter. I'll start when the weather gets warm. So the weather starts to get warm. I believe it was around May or June. And I put it down the basement and I fill it up. And it's just hose water. And I just put my feet in it. I'm like, fuck. That's the first thing I did is I put my feet in. And I was like, nah. And the next day I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. I fill it all the way up. And I talked myself out of it, bro. I was like, I'm not doing this shit.
It's shocking, right? Like you're just sitting in cold water and you just can't do it. You'd rather get tackled by, a linebacker full speed.
Yeah, there's like 100 things that I'd rather fucking do. So then the guy in my head's really like, dude, you are a worthless piece of shit. You are. So the next day, bro, I just fucking did it. And it was like 55, which was hell at the time for me, And then I got in again the next day. And then the next day. And then I bought a chiller because I was using ice bags and shit. That's a pain in the ass.
And it gets expensive too. You don't realize how much money you spend on ice.
Yeah. So I got a chiller, not a great one. You had the same one. We both don't love it. Yep. But for me, it works. So now, fast forward, it's a daily thing, 5 days a week for me. I take the weekends off. I'm averaging 5 minutes per plunge. The average temperature is between 40 and 42-ish. Sometimes it'll dip below, sometimes a little bit higher.
Yep.
But the fucking benefits, bro. From now, again, you're going to talk. I'm dominating this conversation right now, but I'm going to turn it over to you, and everybody's going to be like, what the fuck? Because your story is ridiculous. For me, it's a clarity where I get out of there, and it's almost like you're like a focused fucking serial killer. Not that I've ever done that before. And Chuck, I've never done a drug in my life, so I don't even know what that feels like. But I would imagine like there's a high and alertness that is just uncomparable. And I, warm up for about 5 or 6 minutes, and I get right into my workout. And my workouts were always like the hard part of the day.
Yeah.
And the mental thing is I just got out of that fucking thing. The hard part for me is it's almost as if I'm walking through the fucking workout. And I I'll do like 25 minutes a hit and then I'll do the X3 bar. I'm not like fucking doing like a little lollygag. I'm pushing myself and I'm telling you, it's nothing. Now, I did one day, I did a test and I didn't go in the tub and worked out. And I'm telling you, I dragged my ass. It was like, the difference was amazing. Now, your story is insane. So I'm going to shut the fuck up.
Well, if you see me shaking, I literally have the shivers because I just got out of 36 degrees. But it's amazing because as I sit here, it's like I feel my body like coming back, like heating up. And it's like you just feel like you want to do something positive. So yeah, if I wasn't on with you right now, I would definitely be going right to the gym. And then if you can't get to the gym, at least, dropping down, doing some push-ups and stuff. But my story was like, it was just crazy because I've had 7 surgeries prior to even 7. Yeah. So I've had 3 elbow from pitching, Tommy John's, ulnar nerve transfer and scope. I had 2 right meniscus surgeries on my knee. I probably should only had 1. I had a right ankle surgery where I broke a bone in my foot. And then my left leg on a bad fall, I ruptured my quad tendon, broke my kneecap, and tore my quad. So I'm a mess, right? With all that, I was still functioning, recovered, and still being, the best version of myself I could be. And I was playing slow pitch softball one day, and I literally went to swing. I swung and missed, which is near impossible in slow pitch softball, and I felt like a zing, I thought I tore my labrum or something. So everybody was like, "Dude, put the bat down." Of course, I didn't put the bat down. I just choked up and tried to find a way to get a hit. But I was like, I tore my shoulder. Like something's not right. I couldn't do a push up, so I went to the doctor, and just from explaining the story, they're like, "I think it's your neck." So we do the MRI. They do all the shoulder testing. My shoulder's fine. I get the MRI, and pretty much every disc in my neck and back is either herniated or bulging. So most of us have bulges or herniations, but the truth of the matter is every disc in my body is bulging or herniated. But in C6, C7, it was so bad that it was pinching a nerve, and that's what was causing all the pain on the right side of my body, which was going all the way down my neck into my scapula. Like, it was at the point where my son will tell you, like, I'd be walking around like this. I'd be at his tennis match, like holding my scapula up, because I couldn't deal with the pain. I'd be driving and I would hold the handle of the car, that when you get in, driving like this to keep my shoulder at a position that the nerve wasn't pinching. So finally, like, all right, well, let's do spinal decompression. Even spoke to Dr. Ed about it. He's like, you got to find a Cox table, found the right chiropractor. Of course, that's not covered, a couple of grand out of pocket. Yeah. I'm doing spinal decompression 3 days a week, did absolutely nothing. Then they send me back to the surgeon. He's like, all right, let's go on gabapentin and naproxen, right? 2 horrible drugs for you. Let's write the script. Let's make the money. I'm not thinking that way yet. I'm just like, hey, whatever I got to do to feel better, you're the professional. So I'm on the meds. That's doing nothing. Then they send me for my first epidural. I had 3 epidurals and 1 steroid pack of pills. That did nothing. The only thing that took the pain away was the oxy, which was awful. Not good, but it was helping me sleep. And it was getting me to the point where almost once a day I had to take one because I was just, literally I'd be working, I'd be typing with one hand, like writing emails, because I'm like, I'm dying. So finally the surgeon's like, you got to get a disc replacement. Your disc is crushing on the nerve. We've tried everything else. I said, well, let's do it. What's the deal? Am I going to be able to ski again? Am I going to be able to lift weights again? Am I going to be able to walk and be normal? Oh yeah, no problem. Mind you, I've done some research and there's been some major problems with that surgery. But with that being said, I get on the schedule for the surgery. I get a call, insurance declined it. Right? They wanted to do a fusion instead of a disc replacement. So he said, it'll take about a month to appeal it. I said, well, you got to get me some more oxy. Unfortunately, I said, I'm dying. He said, it'll take a month, hopefully not that long. So during that time, I was big into listening to, Joe Rogan, Dana White, Gary Brecka, Wim Hof, all these guys, you've seen all this stuff. Yep. So just like you, I'm like, all right, I buy the tub. So I'm like, it's the last thing I didn't try. I got in on the first time, I kind of let that craziness take over, and I'm like, listen, give me a break. You've jumped out of an airplane. Like, you can't sit in cold water, Right. So I got in, it sucked. It was horrible. Same thing, probably about 55 degrees the first time. Then I started buying the bags of ice. I did 10 plunges in a row. And after the 10th plunge, just from like turning my head, I'm like, wow, this is weird. I got about 2 weeks in, I was pain free. I dropped to the floor. I banged out like 25 push-ups. I was turning my head, and during that time, I did 62 plunges in a row. Wow. And then like went on a vacation or something. But during the spring and summer, I probably did about 120 plunges in 135 days. Wow. Now I'm averaging probably 3 to 4 a week. It's a lot harder during the winter for many reasons. Yeah. But my surgeon didn't answer my email, didn't answer my voicemail. Told him that while I was waiting for the appeal, I made a commitment to fully submerged cold plunges, which, I go up to the neck. I got a 150-gallon tub, and I also do a 20 to 30-second head dunk at the end. Yeah. Because I don't know, they say there's a lot of sensors in your head. Who knows? Yeah. So long story short, I still know there's an issue here, but I am pain-free and haven't taken an ounce of medicine in 6 months. And it's just really, it kind of pisses me off because never during this journey did one person, from the chiropractor to the surgeon to anybody, say, while we're trying to solve this problem, I think you should give cold plunging a chance. And the bottom line is, if they would have, that's 3 epidurals, a steroid pack, tons of naproxen, tons of gabapentin, tons of MRIs, multiple x-rays, and physical therapy. That you're talking, how much money is there? So it's been, I've been trying to really share my journey with everybody. But like you said, I have multiple friends. I won't call them out. Some of my St. John's brothers, some of them can do it. Not many. It's not easy. I mean, it's unfortunately, the easiest way to do it would be to have the $15,000 tub in your house that converts from hot to cold. And, who's going to afford that? So if you're doing it the old school way, like we're doing, there's maintenance involved. Yeah. It's a commitment, but there's no doubt about it. Like, it legitimately it saved me, because if I would have got that disc replacement surgery, who even knows if it would have taken? So that's where I'm at. So now it's like brushing my teeth. I literally cannot go without doing it every week.
Yeah. And I've seen, you sent me a video just a couple weeks ago, skiing.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm more committed than ever to the gym, to my diet. I mean, there's a whole nother thing. So the key word here is inflammation, right? For me, prior to all this, inflammation was, I got hit by a pitch and I have a bruise and I'm inflamed. I stubbed my toe on the corner of the bed and I have a bruise and I have inflammation, right? Let me put some ice on it. I've never knew anything about inflammation causing cancer, processed foods causing inflammation. So to me, inflammation, it's now pretty much my main focus in my journey of trying to be healthy, because now I'm eating more whole foods. I've got thanks to RFK and people talking about processed foods, I got rid of the seed oils. I'm doing just beef tallow, avocado oil. Yeah. And, now with that too, this type of stuff gets expensive. So it's unfortunate, it's like, it's a give and a take, but I'm taking things like oil of oregano with black seed oil, probiotics, and then, trying to keep the inflammation in my body as low as possible. And then I know you're big on it too. We do the intermittent fasting where, if you can get over that 24-hour mark, 36 hours, once, twice a month on top of your regular 16 to 18-hour fasts, it's a tremendous thing for the body.
Yeah. So here you are, basically lined up to be a cripple, basically a drug addict. You're going to be taking oxys for the rest of your life, and you're going to go into la la land, and it's going to create disaster in every phase of your life, right? Your business is going to suffer. Your relationships are going to suffer. Your leadership stuff, all of it's going to suffer. You go from that path to jumping in fucking water. And like you said, you're doing it the old school way. You got yours is outside. You live in New York. Your shit's outside. So you're getting out into the cold. I know you got we'll show some pictures. And you got the little areas heated out there. Yeah. But nevertheless, you're going outside in this fucking weather.
Breaking the ice.
And you're breaking ice. And by the way, I mean, I can't do that.
I'm still shaking. You can see me. I'm literally still shaking. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, I can't do. I mean, I have trouble. I'm in a heated house, and because it's still winter, I still struggle, man, to get down there in the basement. Even though it's warm down there, it's not as warm as it is up here. Obviously, I can't imagine the shit that you're doing. But we both bought the same tub, except you bought the 150 gallon. I bought the 100 because I'm fucking. My body's.
You're a little more petite. You're a little more.
A little petite, right? I didn't need it. Plus, you like to show off. You always like to do everything fucking better than me. I know how that works. You heard I did 100, so you did 150. This is what the fuck you do.
Yeah, and then I said I did a certain temperature, and you had to go below it.
So I bought a chiller. You bought the same chiller. You did not have a good experience. So, by the way, my chiller, the same one we bought, mine broke. Yours just never really worked. Yep. They gave me a second one to their credit.
Yeah, they refunded me. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I have a timer on it. So what mine does is it goes off at 4 a.m. I do my plunges later in the day because I work out later in the day. And I know you do them first thing in the morning, right?
I try. I mean, I definitely have done them later in the day. It depends on what the day looks like, but I try and do them in the morning for sure.
Yeah. And I think for most people that we belong to a lot of the same groups, the Facebook pages. Yep. We'll put some of them up. I'm always fascinated by some of the people that go out to these lakes. Yes. Right? And I know you did a stream. You jumped in a stream last month.
That was in Okemo. That was a challenge. It was kind of funny. I had an Airbnb. We were going skiing for my son's 16th birthday. So I had a house, beautiful house in the woods, and the guy that owns it is a cool dude. I've gotten to know him well. He's in the fire department over there, and so I'm like, is there any local streams or something to get a cold plunge in? He's like, oh, you're a cold plunge guy? Yeah. So my guy's like, well, I have a river in the backyard, and I was like, oh god. He's like, and if you don't do it and take a video of it, I lose all respect for you. I'm like, ah. So sure enough, I mean, and I have a video. My mom was literally videoing out the window because we had to hike. So I'm in like those stupid little toe shoes, where every toe has a little covering. Yeah. And just my bathing suit and a shirt. And we're walking through the woods down a hill. and I got in the cold water. I mean, that was, I don't know what the temperature was, but your body kind of talks to you. It was definitely less than 30.
Yeah.
And I stayed in for like a minute and a half, and I was like, all right, I did it. I'm out.
That's crazy, man. That's nuts. It's a simple thing, man. This is what frustrates you, both you and I. And it's also why we're so excited about RFK, AHA movement. It's like for years, decades, our country, our system, our medical cabal simply refuses to offer us easy, natural ways to treat problems.
Yeah.
Their first answer to everything is a fucking pill or a surgery. And that's why you got to take your own health in your own hands. I have a great, my doctor's great. We have drinks together. I love the guy. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be proactive in my own diagnoses. I did a video yesterday, Chuck, talking about nitric oxide therapy, won a Nobel Prize 27 fucking years ago.
Wow.
There's about 100 million people on high blood pressure meds in this country. And how many of them do you think their doctor said, hey, have you tried nitric oxide therapy? How many would you guess of the 100 million people?
Less than 10?
Yeah, I mean, here's the pill, like whatever the fuck it is, right? There's 10 different high blood pressure meds, each one with massive side effects, right? I mean, massive.
Yeah.
And yet our medical system won't discuss. And here you have millions of people are now involved in this cold plunging. And I don't know if there's a crazier story than yours, man. I really don't.
Well, I'm sure. I think there's got to be. And that's why I just, because I've never done this stuff. Like, and first of all, thank you for all you do. Like, I know, that we focus on the Trump stuff.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is like all those guys that hate both of us. And I'm pretty confident there's not two guys with a bigger heart that would do anything for anybody. But I appreciate what you do with all the politics stuff, because first of all, you do the research. So they might not agree with you.
Yeah.
If anybody had a clue how much time you put in to get information out, like nobody wants to think about that. It's always just like, oh, Bobby's a Trumpster. Like, how about Bobby took hours to do this research? He edited the video. Yeah. He's feeding it to you. Like, so I appreciate what you do. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
I think you do a lot of good stuff.
And it's just a matter of like my tagline is hypocrisy thrives in darkness, right? Like if things are dark, if you're blind, it's easy to have hypocrisy thrive. Yeah. But get a fucking flashlight, man. Like, hey, get a flashlight so you can see. Open your fucking eyes. If COVID did not open your eyes to how fucked up the medical cabal is, remember they told you that masks work. They told you that social distance. They made that up.
Did you get that?
I did not. No, of course not.
I didn't either. Yeah.
No. I mean, first of all, if you remember, this is how fucked up it was. If you remember, half the country was like, I'm not getting vaccinated. Trump created it, right? So all the anti-Trump people were anti-vax. And I was with them. I was like, I agree with you. I'm not getting it either. And then all of a sudden, Trump loses, and they all became pro-vax.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's like, what the fuck where do you stand? What kind of strength do you have? Like, where's your moral fucking grounds? Like don't you have pride?
But back to the hypocrisy, like, why can't so many of these people now admit that it was wrong? I mean, people are now getting their jobs back with back pay. Like, can you imagine, like, the nurses? I always call the nurses and the doctors. They were the heroes that walked into the front lines. We knew nothing about this thing. We were all scared, right? When it first happened, we were all nervous.
Of course.
And these people were treating everybody and saving lives before a vaccine. And then they lost their job for not getting the vaccine that they didn't have when they were used to be there to save people. It was, to me, it's the biggest disgrace in the history of the world. Really, and Fauci that guy should be put away.
Yeah. He should how about firing 8,000 men and women in our military? Like the biggest, baddest, healthiest, chiseled. Like, think of what it takes to become a military service member. Think of the rigors that you have to go through, the physicality that you have to become. And you fired 8,000, some of them like major Navy SEALs.
Disgusting.
Like, you're getting rid of those people, you fucking idiots.
Do you remember when you would walk into the restaurant with your mask, and then you would sit down, and then you would order and take off your mask, and then you had to go to the bathroom, and you were like,
put the mask on. It's bizarre what we were allowed to have. So I just think it's great that we have so much in common when it comes to that stuff. We're very skeptical of what the experts tell us, and it's always fun to bounce stuff off you. And I want to give you a plug for your business, because I always believe that there's no politics when it comes to baseball apparel. Right. But the reality is I like to support other patriots and other conservative people. There's so much boycotting, right? I'm sure by me speaking the way I speak, I eliminate 50% of people that would potentially invest with me or buy life insurance for me. But frankly, Chuck, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because to me, the message is more important than my monetary gain. And I know you feel the same way.
Yep.
But talk a little bit about your business and what you do, because you're self-employed, and self-employed guys, it's never easy to be self-employed. You wake up unemployed basically every day. So talk a little bit about your business.
Yeah. So basically CNC, the history of the logo, obviously home plate is baseball. I'm a baseball lifer. The game of baseball gave me everything I have, pretty much, from my closest friends to every job opportunity I've ever had. Really, you could kind of break down that from, my dad putting a bat and a glove in my hand, kind of opened up so many doors for me. So that's the home plate. And then C is for my brother Chris, who we lost to leukemia.
Yeah.
The other C is for my son Chris, who's named after my brother. I'm Chuck. My dad's Charlie. My dad also passed from cancer. So like C and C, my girlfriend's Courtney now. It's like, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's just
so you have to stick with her forever then.
It's kind of like on the it's on the hat right there, right? There's a lot of important C's in my life, but so that's the history of the logo. And then basically I'm a manufacturer of custom apparel, specializing in sublimation. I do have my own line of cotton products, from hoodies to joggers. We do screen printing and embroidery. And, my bread and butter is a lot of the travel programs and little leagues. I do corporate apparel, restaurants. I'll do, anything that has a logo we can do. But again, because of the relationships you build in life, a lot of my customers are guys I played with, against, who are now teachers, coaches, running these travel programs. I think I even did some stuff for Joey D his senior year.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. I mean, and it's, I kind of took a leap of faith in, doing it on my own, because, it's an expensive world we live in. And if you can make money yourself and you have the relationships, I think right now being an entrepreneur is a far better way to go than a college degree for many of them. And it's, not to knock college, but if you're going to be a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, you have a definite career path and you need that degree, that's fine.
Right.
But, you're selling life insurance. What was your undergraduate degree in? What did you study in college?
Oh, yeah, I dropped out of college. I was in college for 3.5 years, aimless. I hated every minute of it. I did I was a broadcasting major. One of the teachers I was a
communications major.
She's like, you don't have the voice for this.
Yep.
And then I switched to accounting. I hated that. And then one day I went to a seminar, and the guy in front of the room was 26 years old, making $250,000 a year. And he said, you don't need a college education. You just need desire, hard work, leadership. And I'm saying to myself, I was the captain of my football team just a couple of years ago. I understand leadership and hard work. And I go back to school the next day, and the guy in front of the room is making $25,000 a year teaching me. What should I do, Chuck? And I got the fuck out of college, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It's a fucking scam.
Well, what's the scam? It's like, people will call us conspiracy theorists or whatever. My journey of the ice baths, and the fact that, listen, there's many good doctors out there. Okay. Yeah. God bless the doctors. I mean, I've had 7 surgeries, and surgery is necessary. These guys are saving lives on a daily basis, but I feel like they're almost, they're geared to a certain pathway of writing these scripts and putting Band-Aids on things without even themselves being educated on the importance of nutrition and other things. College, our kids go to high school. My son right now is a high honor roll student, great kid, does not like school, but he knows he has to give the effort.
Yeah.
He's not going to college, doesn't want to go to college. And he's studying Macbeth and geometry right now. What the hell is that going to do for him, right? These kids don't, you walk around his school, these kids can't make eye contact. They can't have a conversation. So then what do? You meet with your guidance counselor, and it's like, what bumper sticker are we going to put on Johnny's car? Is he going to UVA? Is he going to Wake Forest?
Right.
And yet these kids are leaving high school with no life skills.
None.
They don't know how to cook a meal. They don't know how to invest money. They don't know what the Dow Jones is. They don't know what crypto is. And so we go to college, and then you get this communications degree.
Meanwhile, you have no people skills, right? Your communication skills are terrible.
We're big skiers, and anybody that's a skier, especially in the Northeast, has heard of the waffle cabin, and you've probably eaten a waffle at the waffle cabin. So let me tell you the story. It's a waffle, and it comes with or without Nutella, and you get handed it in a napkin, and it's $8 for regular, $9 for Nutella, and the cup of coffee is $6, and the line is wrapped around the mountain all day.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I wonder what they make a year.
Yeah.
Making waffles.
Right.
So, whether it's a car detailing business or a food truck or a Cold Plunge studio, maybe we do the Bobby D and Chuck Cold Plunge studio with the infrared sauna.
Nice.
I feel like we got to push these kids into understanding what their gift is, because that's the way I look at it. Everybody has a gift. One of my gifts, I believe, was I was just blessed with great relationships. My success is kind of a product of my relationships, because without the great people in my life, I never would have had the opportunity to do what I do. But everybody's got a gift. Maybe it's cooking, maybe it's art, maybe it's public speaking. Who knows? Maybe you just make a good waffle, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. And one of the most influential books I read early on was The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. And the epiphany for me, the light bulb went off when I read in this book, like, every single one of you, us, has something that we can do better than most everyone else. Find what that is. And that when it hit me, it was like, I was meant to coach. I was meant to be a coach. And then coaching, my passion for that led to creating a baseball league. You know, and talk about going against a league that was in business for 50 years. There was
this kind of word, right? Weren't you just recognized?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. But it was like, it hit me like that. I was meant to lead a youth organization. And I did 19, I coached for 10 years, but 19 years in as a president. By the way, I didn't get paid a dime. You know, some of my expenses were paid. My phone bill was paid. I got some gas stuff paid. But yet it was the most valuable thing I ever did in my life because of the relationships I built and the gratification of fulfillment. It's something that you just don't see today. Like you'll never see guys like us come around. By the way, my son wasn't even born yet when I did all this. So it wasn't like I did it because, you know, most of today's guys, Chuck, they get involved because, you know, they want their Christopher to play shortstop. And Christopher can't play short, but he's going to play short because I'm his daddy. He's going to bat second. Now, he shouldn't be batting second, but he's going right? You know the deal.
As you know, I coached many years myself. And once I realized that my son wasn't going to be a baseball kid, you know, I stepped away from that. But truthfully, I never would have made it. It was just getting to be, I'll never forget like my moment as a coach where I was like, I'm done. We were in Cooperstown Dreams Park, 12-year-old tournament. And I think we came in the top 20 out of like 150 teams or something. We had a good team. And I had a kid on my team who was not a good hitter, but he was a great bunter. And at one point of the game, he lays down a bunt, moves the guy over, and we drive in the tying run. And then he comes up again and squeezes in the go-ahead run. I mean, I couldn't have been happier for the team and for this kid. We win the game, and I get, hey, coach, can I talk to you? Yeah, what's going on? Like, that was amazing. I'm not even going to say his name. Like, you know, what an unbelievable job. What a great job. You're killing his confidence. Like, I'm like, what? He thinks you think he sucks as a hitter. Okay. All right. I'm out. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah. Can't do it.
That's what you're dealing with.
Guys like me and you cannot coach today.
No.
We'd be arrested like at 36. You called that kid what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
you held him accountable?
Right.
You actually held him accountable?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's it. I mean, it's
good stuff, brother. Good stuff.
No, I appreciate you having me on. It's
yeah. So this will be fun. I'll obviously you can see your website there. If anyone's involved in youth sports in any capacity, you're the guy to reach out to. The
absolutely
work you do, your work ethic. You say what you mean. So many guys in this space don't deliver. The stuff you ask for isn't what you get back.
Well, that's why being a manufacturer. I mean, I have my own factory now, so we control production. So at turn times, but anybody that's doing any cancer jerseys, anything related to that, I will hook it up. Lovely. If you have any kids in your program that can't afford a uniform, I'm your guy. So you know that's it. I want to try and give back as much as I can. And being a business owner, you could do that when you're a sales rep for another company. You know, you don't have that flexibility. Right. So if there are anybody on your in your network that I can help, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, and they'll be very pleased. You're a professional. Say what you mean what you say. You don't overpromise. So, and that's a rarity in business today. I mean, you almost expect today in any business relationship for disappointment. If you're not disappointed, you're like thrilled.
Exactly. Right? It's crazy. It is crazy. It's very, very true.
Good stuff, brother. Good to have you on. Hopefully some people will take our advice on this plunging. It's a life changer.
No doubt.
And the rest of the stuff that we discussed is good shit too. Good to have you, brother.
All right, brother.
Talk to you soon.